So we're on 2 Timothy 4:2, preaching and just going and proclaiming what Jesus did for us, that he died on the cross, and getting that news out there. I want to leave y'all with 3 points tonight on how preaching is something we are constantly doing nonstop, no matter what we're doing. Everything you do is a part of your testimony and can be an example of God's love, is the first point. The way you walk in a room, the way you approach somebody at the grocery store, whatever you do, if you are wanting to represent Christ, you can preach in everything you do. By just, like I said, being at the grocery store. The way you react to the good and the bad and show how you treat others shows God's love. Just, being compassionate to people. How you are with your animals, with your kids, with your wife. It is all practice for our eternity. So everything we do is a part of our preaching. But as we preach, battles will come. Battles will come when you preach of an unworldly life, because that is what we are trying to do, is get focused on an unworldly God that loves us in an incredible way. But the battles come as excuses, and tomorrow I'll do it, tomorrow I'll start. I'm busy today, and I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. Pastor Dan talked about this over the weekend, that we're waiting for the right time to start. And there's just no time like the present. Living out of this world is another thing I want to talk about. Is living in and for the world is the hardest thing a godly person can do. We like to say living for God is hard because we are from the world. What if we looked at it a different way? Didn't God make us? So shouldn't it be the other way? Being of the world should be the hard part, and living for God should be the good, easy way. What if we give all the pain the world gives us to God? I just think that is the way that we should approach our walk from now on. Is we complain about being of the world, but really we're of God. So get that mindset, and then all these worldly problems are God's issue to deal with. Michael Todd, just love this guy, and some of the stuff he says is way out there. But this one thing I've got pasted all over my screens on my computer. The obedience to believe is my job, and the outcome is his. If that's your mantra, then all you got to do is show up and be obedient, and then everything else is in his control. So my last point is, what are you waiting for? We take for granted every breath we get. We take for granted that the sun is coming up tomorrow. Everything that we receive in a day is a blessing. We think we are in control of our tomorrows. How many people do you know that have passed away or are dealing with some kind of illness and they wish they had a tomorrow? There's so many people during this season that don't have tomorrows. Stop living like a God and surrender to the only God. We go around this life that we are in control. We're not. Stop living like you are a God and start living for the God. And he will take control and you will be in a better place. Serve the only God that blessed you with your yesterdays and has victory for your tomorrows. And do it today. There's no time like the present. You think you know better than God? I got to touch on this on Wednesday night with the kids. And I talked about Peter meeting Jesus, Simon meeting Jesus. And Peter is there. Jesus comes. He's preaching to some people on the shore, and they're crowding up on him. He doesn't have enough room. So he goes, I'm going to use y'all's boat. And they're kind of like, okay, strange man that just walked up with the crowd. And he gets in their boat, and he finishes preaching. And to thank them, he says, Peter, or Simon, go out, a little bit deeper, and you can catch some fish. I know y'all, I can see y'all struggled. You're washing your nets out, you don't have any? I know y'all can catch some fish if you go a little bit further. And Simon goes, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm a fisherman. You don't know. So isn't that us telling Jesus every day, Jesus, I got this. You don't got it. I got it. But Peter listens to Jesus. He goes out a little bit further, and he gets 2 boats full of fish. Don't you want 2 boats? That's what I want. I want 2 boats full of fish, but I'm in the way. So what are we waiting for, man? How do I do it? How do I get 2 boats? How do I live this unworldly life? It's in this. It's in the Bible. If you're looking for it, it's in Romans 10, 9 through 13. The Message is a little bit funky translation, but sometimes it's just great to get a different perspective. But it reads this: the world that saves is right here. Or the word that saves is right here. As near as a tongue in your mouth, as close as the heart in your chest. It's the word of faith that welcomes God to go to work and sets things right for us. This is the core of our preaching. Say the welcoming word to God, Jesus is my master, embracing body and soul. God's working to do in us what he did in raising Jesus from the dead. Man, don't you want to be raised from the dead? Don't sometimes you feel like you're just dead? Well, the only thing that can raise you from the dead is God. And he's chasing you. And you're too busy to stop. You're too in control. Stop running. Stop. Get in his word. Let him talk to you. And be saved. Surrender yourself. There's no time like the present. He wants to love on you with a love that is out of this world. But you want to be God in your world. So, I ask you, if you want to give up control to some God, something that will just embrace you and take care of all your desires. What are you waiting for? Get out of the way. If you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For with the heart one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. For the scripture says, everyone who believes in him will not be put to shame. For there is no distinction between Jew and Greek, and the same Lord is Lord of all, bestowing his riches on all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. That's the life I want to live. I want to live a godly life and not a worldly life. Let him have it. And it's for you today. You can have that today, right now, this minute. Is that time?